plan was 7 nights in Paris, then 4 nights in Annecy near Geneva and the Swiss border, before returning to Paris for 3 nights, then on to Rome for a final 2 nights, and then home. Or at least that was the plan. I travel, I visit amazing destinations, stay in interesting hotels, and cruise the rivers and the seas. For over 30 years, I researched, sourced, planned, and operated group and incentive travel programs around the world. I'm Wayne Waldron, and this is My Incentive Life. I didn't know her hotel, but I'd love it when I get things right. I had bought it at a silent auction as part of an industry event. The limited research I conducted indicated it was a 5-star property located just behind the Ritz-Carlton near Place Vendôme in the first arrondissement of Paris. The Hotel Castile was more than I might have hoped for. Quietly elegant, with a personable and attentive staff, and understated, unpretentious luxury. And the hotel's location was perfect for my morning routine. I'd grab a latte, turn right out the front door, and walk the 2 blocks to the Tuileries, Paris's oldest public park. Located just off the Louvre's end, extending to the Place de la Concorde along the Seine, the gardens were first constructed in 1564 for the exclusive use of the royals, and then opened to all as a public park in 1667. If you haven't experienced the Tuileries, you're missing a part of French history, including reminders such as these bronze plaques on the park wall along the Rue de Rivoli, paying tribute to individuals who died on August 25, 1944, the final day of fighting between the French and the remaining Nazi German occupation forces during the liberation of Paris, and a solemn reminder of those who paid the ultimate price for freedom. On our last visit to Paris in October of 2023, we had the opportunity to take a 2CV or 2 chevaux, English translation 2 horses, city tour with Vivian as our private driver guide. Now, fast forward 18 months and we're back in Paris and have booked another tour with Vivian. On this tour, the majority of our time was spent exploring Montmartre and the surrounding area. To experience a custom drive through Paris with a knowledgeable driver guide is a fantastic way to spend a day in the city. And a quick fun fact, built by Citroën from 1948 until 1990, the 2CV had a top speed of 40 miles an hour. Continuing with my greatest hits, here are a few other things that I enjoy, and when I see or do them, my trip is more complete. Things like walking through the Jardin du Palais Royal. I saw people on the grass enjoying the day, having lunch, reading, relaxing, and so much more. It's also where we saw the most interesting man in the world. We had seen him earlier with his wife and children, all impeccably dressed. Here he is rocking a coordinated dusty rose-colored blazer, tie, and socks. This guy is killing it with style. Continuing our stroll, we walked through Galerie Vivienne Paris, one of 21 covered passages still in existence and considered the best of those still in use. Note the mosaic tile floor. At one time, there were more than 150 of these 19th century structures serving as shopping arcades and gathering places. Stepping out the door of Galerie Vivienne, we were just down the sidewalk from one of our favorite dining destinations, Le Grand Colbert, a brasserie dating back to 1910 and a building first built in 1637 as a private residence. We've eaten at Le Grand Colbert many times over the years, and when I've had small VIP groups operating in Paris, we often had dinner there. It's a beautiful room with classic French service and style. It was also a featured location in the movie Something's Gotta Give, with a scene that included Diane Keaton, Jack Nicholson, and Keanu Reeves.
I don't believe it.
Oh,
Me either.
This visit was made memorable by a woman sitting diagonally across from us. For some reason, she took an interest in us, interjecting from her seat with the odd comment or suggestion, and then insisting on taking a picture of us. Those who say Paris isn't friendly are wrong. So very wrong. Another of my favorite spots in Paris, which we have never failed to visit, is Place des Vosges in the Marais. There's just something about it that makes me appreciate the destination just a little bit more. Paris's oldest planned square, dating back to 1605, Place des Vosges is surrounded on three sides by a covered arcade that includes the home, now a museum, of Victor Hugo, author of The Hunchback of Notre Dame and Les Miserables. There's something special about sitting in a sidewalk cafe at Ma Bourguignon, enjoying lunch and a nice wine while looking across at the park. This is my Paris, my spot to sit and enjoy one of Paris's most historic neighborhoods. And for my last Paris outing story, there's the canal tour. I'll be the first to admit, it might not be for everyone, and some might find it too boring, but I enjoy the view of the neighborhood from the water. Our cruise started on the Seine near the Musée d'Orsay and ended at the edge of Paris proper at Basin de la Villette. Funded with a tax on wine and completed in 1825, the 2.9-mile-long canal was built with four goals in mind: to supply the city with fresh drinking water, help avoid diseases, in particular dysentery and cholera, both prevalent at the time, provide water for numerous city fountains, and facilitate street cleaning. The canal also served as a way to move grain, building materials, and other goods into the city via canal boats. Almost paved over in the 1960s to create a highway, today the canal sits at the heart of one of the most vibrant sections of the city. As I said, it might not be for everyone, but I always enjoy it as a low-effort way to explore one of my favorite cities. After a week in Paris, we were staying in Gare de Lyon, bound for Annecy, in time with our friends JP and Carolyn. Our travel to Annecy was by TGV, the French high-speed train, and a very civilized way to move about. Your train arrives 10 to 15 minutes before departure time, you board, take your seat, and the train leaves the station at the appointed time. No lines, no waiting, no landing in the middle of nowhere and making your way to the city center. All with the chance to relax, read, look out the window, or enjoy a glass of wine. No muss, no fuss. Just the way I like it. This would be the third time in the last 4 years we've had the chance to connect with them while traveling in France, starting in 2021 with Hérisson, located about an hour south of Bordeaux on the coast, in the town where chef and author Anthony Bourdain spent his summers as a child with his French relatives. In 2023, it was Arles, located in Provence and one of my favorite French towns, and in 2025, Annecy. Arriving in Annecy, we were met by Carolyn as JP circled the block, waiting for the three of us to arrive curbside. The condo was a short ride from the station, and just across the street from the city
Lake
center
Annecy
was a short
and the
drive
park.
to begin a multi-century
Situated
step
on the
back
12th
in time
floor
and
with
a
an
series of
unobstructed view of
visual
the lake and the Alps
contradictions.
beyond.
A
The
lake
view
on
was
one
more than you
side,
could hope
surrounded
for.
by a lush park with sleek Italian-style boats waiting to take you on a private tour, larger boats for scheduled tours, and small boats available for rent to take out on your own. On the other side, a medieval town with a river running through its heart, filled with shopping, restaurants, and bars. We spent the day exploring the town in this lakeside and enjoyed a fantastic lunch at a very unassuming restaurant on a busy lane, Mazzetti. Mazzetti was the kind of place that didn't shout, "Get in here," but more of a, "Come in, you'll enjoy it" vibe. They were right. We did. Post-lunch, we turned our thoughts to a tour. Our choice was to enjoy the lake from the wind-free confines of a public tour on a larger boat with a capacity of 60 or so. The only negative was it was all in French.
Sa largeur oscille entre 800 mètres et 3 km 500.
I've gotten used to tours like this being bilingual, so it took me a minute to adjust. discounting my inability to speak French and remind me to tell you a couple of stories of my attempts over the years. We enjoyed it. It was when we returned to the condo that things suddenly took a turn, changing the course of the trip. We pulled into the parking lot, and lucky for us, there was an open parking place. Carolyn, Michelle, and I exited the car, and JP began backing into the parking spot. As the car started to move, I realized I couldn't see Michelle. She had fallen, getting out of the car on the far side. Almost before I could call out, Michelle screamed. The car had backed over her right leg. Next up was 6 hours in a French emergency room, bandages, Uber rides, and a short night. I don't have to tell you that any plans we had were out the door. The new plan was to take the TGV back to Paris, spend 2 nights in the Pullman Montparnasse Hotel, and rebook our flight to return from Paris instead of Rome, flying home a week early. So, our trip didn't end as we had hoped, but how many people can say they went to France, got run over by a car, and then flew home?
But what about us?
We'll always have Paris.
I'm Wayne Waldron, and this is My Incentive Life.